Hi, this is Sowmyan again. Welcome to my Japanese language lesson number 47. I started a subset of lessons focusing on particles from lesson number 44 onwards. In this lesson, I'll focus on particle no. In the earlier lessons on particles, I covered wa, ga, and mo. All these were subject markers. Now we will talk about the possession indicator particle no. All particles in their basic application appear to be simple enough. However, when we bring together all the contexts and nuances with which they are applied, as I have done from lesson 44 onwards, they are a little bit more surprising in their variety of applications. Particle no is no different. In the most widely used form, no can be said to be equivalent to apostrophe yes, but it is much more than that. Most commonly, the particle no joins two nouns. It comes after the first noun and indicates ownership or relationship between the two nouns. No combines with questions to form information-seeking questions about ownership, relationship, or content, etc. In known context, it stands for the noun following it. It also is used for modifying the nouns in relative clauses. It's used even in converting a whole sentence into a noun for a second sentence. The basic structure where a particle no is used is eva, x no, be this. X, the noun before no, gives some more information about be, the noun coming after no. Consider these examples. The first of these three pairs of sentences has the eva be the structure. They have been further expanded to the eva x no be the structure. Koreva jam des. This is jam. Koreva ichigo no jam des. This is strawberry jam. This is jam made of strawberry. Anohita wa sensei desu. That person is a teacher. Anohita wa Nihongo no sensei desu. That person is a Japanese language teacher. That person is a teacher of Japanese language. Kore wa pen desu. This is a pen. Kore wa watashi no pen desu. This is my pen. As you can see, adding X added more information about B. That is the role of no. In eva x no be the structure, A is the subject. X and B are nouns. X no B is of interest in this lesson. Both X and B may be person, place, or thing. Consider this case where X is a person and B is a thing. The example is Watashi no kuruma, my car. It indicates ownership. Case 2. X is a person, B is also a person. John-san no sensei, John's teacher, indicates personal relationship between John and sensei. In these applications, think of no as apostrophe s. Let us consider the case of X being a place in the structure X no be this. In the following examples, X is a place and B is a thing. In all the examples, the first noun indicates the place of origin of the second noun. Swiss no chizu, Swiss cheese. Chizu is cheese. The chi is pronounced with a long vowel sound. France no wine, French wine. Wine is wine. Bengaluru no kinu or Bengaluru no shirku, Bangalore silk. Kinu is silk. Shirku is the transliteration of silk. Bangalore is where I live. The silk from this place has a geographic identity. Geographic identification of things is even a patentable identity. The statements need not necessarily be restricted to such patentable applications. It is okay if the place of origin of the noun B is the place X. Is your place known for anything special? Share it in the comments column. Let us now pass on to the situation where X is neither a person nor a place and B is a thing. In such situations, X indicates the content or constituent of B. Consider these examples. Nihongo no tekisu, Japanese language textbook, textbook of Japanese language. Tekisu means a textbook. It's a book about the Japanese language or in the Japanese language. The content is related to Japanese. Ichigo no jamu, strawberry jam. jam made up of strawberry. Strawberry is a constituent of the jam. It may have many other constituents also, but strawberry gives the jam a unique identity and is the major constituent. That is how jams are generally differentiated. Okay, now one side point. Ichigo is not like Nihongo or Eigo. It is not a Ichi language. It is the single word for strawberry. Now, Eigo no sensei, English teacher of English language. Strictly speaking, the meaning of apostrophe S in English fits only the applications where the first noun is a person. However, I have my personal practice of internalizing these as if there is an intermediate language which has got direct translation as its pattern, and hence use the apostrophe S internally in all situations. That makes it easy for me to remember this. We considered applications of no coming after person, place, or other things. Now let us look at use of particle no with question words. Discussion of particle with question words has always been useful. We have seen that in earlier lessons also. We can apply question words before no to form dare no, doko no, and nan no. These correspond to whose, where, and what. These are actually very nice way of relating the particle with person, place, and noun. These questions seek more information about the B. X is the information. So the question word replaces X. Kore wa dare no kuruma desu ka? Whose car is this? This relates to a person. Kore wa doko no cheese desu ka? Where is this cheese from? This relates to place. So doko. John-san wa nan no sensei desu ka? What does Mr. John teach? What is Mr. John a teacher of? This relates to a noun other than a person or place. We have often seen that Japanese language encourages omitting words when the context makes it clear. They have been very economical with words. In the examples below, we can rephrase them without the noun following the particle no when the context makes it obvious. Kore wa doko no wine desu ka? Let's say this is the question. One response can be Kore wa France no wine desu. We can simplify this to France no desu. Kore wa as well as wine can be omitted. Wine is the noun that should have followed the particle no. It was already supplied in the question and hence no. The simplified form means from France or French. Look at another example. Kore wa anata no pen desu ka? A very full-sized answer can be Ie, sore wa watashi no pen de wa arimasen. We can also say sore wa watashi no de wa arimasen, dropping the pen. Or we can even say watashi no janai. This means not mine. Even watashi no can be omitted. The response can be just Ie or just janai. A negative response seems to enable a greater degree of simplification. Had the question been Kore wa dare no pen desu ka? Watashi no de wa arimasen would have been much more appropriate. Since the question was a leading one with anata no, even janai is acceptable as a simplification. These were responses to questions. Even if there was no question, no can be used only with X when B is very obvious. There is yet another situation where no is not followed by a noun. This is possible when it follows an adjective. In this case, the combination of the adjective and no stands as a substitute for the noun. Let us consider a context as follows. You are examining gift items in a shop. You have selected a certain design or type of goods, but want a piece of a different color. Let us say you desire a blue colored piece. You could ask the shopkeeper, Aoi no wa arimasen ka? Aoi means blue. It is also an adjective. Aoi no means the blue one. There will be no noun following it. Avoino stood for the product even though you did not name the product. In the Hindi language, we may say blue wala. While referring to a piece with of blue color, you may say blue wala. That wala is like no. Consider another situation. This time, you are looking for neckties. Kono necktie wa ikaka desu ka? This is the shopkeeper asking you. This means, how about that necktie? How do you like that necktie? Well, you are not quite satisfied with it. You want something nicer. You need not repeat the noun necktie. You can say, Motto kereina no wa arimasen ka? Motto means more. Kireina is the foreign adjective meaning nice or beautiful. We did not use the word necktie. We just followed this adjective with no. No stood for this product, this necktie. The meaning is, don't you have anything nicer? Alternately, let us say you felt that it is costly and wanted something less expensive. You could say, Motto yasui no wa arimasen ka? Aren't there any cheaper ones? Yasui means cheap. Yasui no means cheap one. You need not say necktie. Yasui no stood for the necktie. Now let's say you paid for the items you selected and you used a large denomination currency to pay for it. The shopkeeper wants to know if you do not have smaller denominations. He will ask, Komakai no wa arimasen ka? Komakai okane is a proper expression. But that has become komakai no. That means okane has been replaced by no. Komakai is change, a smaller denomination. The unmentioned word is okane, meaning money. Note that in all these cases, if the corresponding noun had appeared, no would not be used. No was only a substitute for the noun. In X no B structure, X may also be a general noun, while B is a proper noun. The general noun is a broader category than the proper noun and appears as a first noun. The individual of the category or a subcategory, which is a proper noun, will follow it. This is commonly used when we refer to a person belonging to a certain profession. Bengoshi no John-san. Bengoshi means lawyer. Bengoshi no John-san would mean John-san, the lawyer. Haisha no Sato-san. Haisha is dentist. Haisha no Sato-san will mean Sato-san, the dentist. Tomodachi no Kishi-san. Tomodachi is my friend. Tomodachi no Kishi-san would mean my friend Kishi-san or Kishi-san, my friend. This is the application. I am digressing a bit here. Let me give you a brief introduction about relative clauses before describing the application of no in relative clauses. Relative clauses are the ones which give more information about a noun by modifying the noun with something like an adjective. It is a way of combining two sentences where one of the sentences is meant to qualify the subject while the other sentence uses the subject in yet another context. Look at this English example. I saw a movie yesterday and the movie was interesting. You combine this to say, the movie which I saw yesterday was interesting. The clause which I saw yesterday qualifies the movie. Which movie was interesting? The one I saw yesterday. Identifying something as the one is the repeated theme in the use of no. Consider this in Japanese. Kino aiga wo mimashita. Omoshiroi deshita. We can combine these two to Kino mita aiga wa omoshiroi deshita. Notice how the first sentence got changed when it was brought into the combined sentence. There are 2 points to note here. The word order was changed and the verb came ahead of the object. The verb was expressed in the plain form. It is important to remember that the polite forms such as mimas, memashta, etc. always end the sentence. Only the question particle ka can normally come after them. When the verb comes in the middle of a sentence, as it happened here, it has to be in the plain form. Kino mita eiga is the subject noun. Eiga wa omishiroi deshita is the fuller form of the second sentence. Thou eiga wa was omitted. Kino mita eiga replaces the omitted eiga in the second sentence. This is an introduction to the construction of a relative clause. Let us now move to consider certain contexts where no comes in the relative clause. I will not be discussing relative clauses where the particle no does not appear. Let us consider an example where no appears. I will first give the two sentences that are combined to form the resultant sentence. The shirt has long sleeves. I want to buy the shirt. The Japanese translation of the two sentences looks like this. Shatsu wa sode ga nagai desu. Shatsu ga kaitai desu. Shatsu is shirt. Sode is sleeve. Nagai is an adjective meaning long. We have shirts with different sleeve lengths, namely short sleeves and long sleeves. The first sentence means the shirt has sleeves that are long. The structure of the first sentence is Eva, biga, adjective desu. The kind of shirt I want to buy is qualified or described by the first sentence. The ga in the second sentence implies that it is the kind of shirt that I want. Both sentences share the same subject, namely shatsu. We have both va and ga in the first sentence. Whatever follows va is a statement about the subject. We will use this statement like an adjective to the subject in the second sentence. That is the general format of the relative clause. In this case, the part that comes after va in the first sentence contains a ga. This ga is replaced by no in a relative clause. That is the rule. Let us see how the sentence with relative clause looks like. Sodenu nagai shatsu ga kaitai desu. Shatsu is a noun. Sodenu nagai is the relative clause. It is positioned like a pseudo adjective. There is no adjective marker particle in Japanese. If something comes before a noun, it usually works like the adjective to the noun. To reinforce the understanding, let us look at the generic structure and yet another example. The structure of the first sentence is Eva x ga b. That of the second sentence is Eva verb or ega verb. In the first sentence, b can be a noun, adjective or verb. In the previous example, we had an adjective nagai. In the next example, we will use a b which is a verb. X ga b from the first sentence will go into the relative clause. The ga will change to no to become x no b. This x no b will precede a which is the subject in the second sentence. The structure of the sentence with the relative clause is x no b, a, va or ga, verb. Imagine a situation like this. I find someone speaking Spanish asking for help. He does not speak Japanese very well. I do not know Spanish. So I am looking for a person who understands Spanish language. How do I structure this? What is my need? A certain kind of person. What kind? This is described by the first sentence. The person should understand Spanish language. Is such a person here? Hito wa supaingo ga wakarimasu. Sonna hito ga imasu ka? These are the two sentences. My combined sentence will be Supaingo no wakaru hito ga imasu ka? Supaingo no wakaru is a relative clause. Supaingo ga wakaru was in the first sentence. This became Supaingo no wakaru. No replaced ga in the relative clause. Wakarimashita ka? A noun does not always have to follow no when the context is clear. When no followed an adjective, the adjective and no combination became a substitute for the noun. Similarly, in a relative clause, the noun following no can often be omitted when the context is clear. Here is an illustration. Kino hon wo kaimashita. Hon wa doko desu ka? Yesterday I bought a book. Where is that book? A single sentence would be Kino katta hon wa doko desu ka? There is an explicit indication of hon in this sentence. It means, where is the book which I bought yesterday? Let us say I am searching for a book in my bookshelf. I had bought it the previous day and a colleague is aware of this. I can seek my colleague's help by saying, Kino katta no wa doko desu ka? Where is the one I bought yesterday? Here, hon is implicit. The context clarifies the hidden noun. Since I am in the process of searching for books in my bookshelf, the question is obviously related to a book. The meaning of no here is the one, and it is a substitute for the noun in the relative clause. In fact, this absent noun is the subject of the sentence itself. We saw a situation where a sentence was converted to form a relative clause that modified a noun. Sometimes an entire sentence may be converted to a noun and used as a subject or object in a second sentence. No can be used for this too. Let us look at such an application. Terebi wo mimasu. Wasuremashita. These are the two sentences. I will see television, I forgot, or watch TV, I forgot. You can translate this way. Wasureru is a group 2 verb meaning to forget. This can be combined to a single sentence as Terebi wo miru no wo wasuremashita. This means I forgot to see or watch the television. The verb at the end of the first sentence was converted to a plain form and no appended to it. Please note, this is not the same way a relative clause was formed. There was no reordering of the words as in the relative clause. The entire first sentence was converted to a noun. Whatever came before the particle no is actually the first sentence, except that instead of the polite ending mimasu, we use the plain form miru. We already recollected polite forms do not come in the middle of a sentence and are replaced by plain forms. In such sentences, if you are talking of sensing or perceiving, no is used. If you are talking of facts, koto is used. Consider the last example. Terebi wo mimashita, wasuremashita. Terebi wo mitakota wo wasuremashita. Here we used koto. I had watched the TV, but forgot the fact that I watched it. So I used koto. I will not go deeper into koto in this lesson. Just remember, no follows things that we sense or perceive. Often this can be what we hear or see, but it is not limited only to these. Let us see some more examples of no being used to combine sentences. Let us consider the sense of hearing first. John-san ga gita o hikimasu. Hikimashita. Gita is guitar. Ta has a long sound here. Hiku is to play. This playing is in the context of a musical instrument. Kiku is to hear. John-san ga gita o hikuno o kikimashita. This means I heard John play the guitar. Here I really heard John playing the guitar. My ears sensed it, so no is used. Look at the next sentence. John-san ga gita o hikukoto o kikimashita. Koto means fact. I heard John plays the guitar. Note that I translated hikukoto to plays as against the translation of hikuno to play. Here I did not hear John play the guitar, but others have told me that he plays the guitar. I heard about the fact of John playing the guitar. I did not hear the sound of music directly, only heard a comment to the effect that he plays it. It is hearsay. It is apparently a fact, must have come from reliable sources, or I had no reason to doubt and take it to be a fact. This additional clarification was required because Kiku stands for both hearing directly as well as hearing about some fact. Let us now move over to the sense of seeing. Sato-san wa biru o mimashita. Sato-san wa biru o nomuno wo mimashita. I saw Mr. Sato drink beer. The verb in the first sentence was converted to plain form and no was appended to it to make this sentence into a noun for the second sentence. The second sentence need not contain a verb. It can also consist of an adjective. I said that no is used when we talk about sensing, which is not limited to hearing and seeing. All perceptions are sensed by the mind. Some things can be perceived as difficult, easy, fast, slow, good, bad, etc. Consider the sentence. Nihongo wo kaku koto wa musukashi desu, or Nihongo wo kaku no wa musukashi desu. Kaku is to write and musukashi is an adjective meaning difficult. It sounds so much like the Hindi word mushkil, which has the same meaning. The meaning of the sentence is Japanese is difficult to write. The sentence can use koto as well as no. These are facts as well as we feel them or sense them. Continuing on the same subject, next sentence says, Demo hanasu koto wa yasashi desu. Alternately, Demo hanasu no wa yasashi desu. Demo means but, hanasu means to speak, yasashi is another adjective and means easy. It is the opposite of musukashi. The meaning is, but it is easy to speak. Let us consider some more examples that talk of people's strength. Anohito wa hashiru no ga hayai desu. Hashiru means to run, hayai means fast. That person is a fast runner is the meaning. Kishi-san wa oyogu no ga zozu desu. Oyogu means to swim, zozu means good at. Mr. Kishi is good at swimming is the meaning. We have seen examples using other forms of sensing. There are some more applications of no in combination with other words. However, the explanation would diverge because of the associated words. Hence, I am skipping them for now. I will deal with two more aspects before we wrap up. Expressing an emphatic statement is one of the applications of no. You make a statement and then add no da or no des and it becomes emphatic. The no here is not pronounced explicitly in normal speech, though this is supposed to be the word in formal speech. It is commonly spoken and also written in Romaji as in the or in this. In the is the plain form and in this is the polite form. Such an ending can follow a noun, adjective or verb. In the can be roughly translated as you see or the exclamatory mark. It has an explanatory or highlighting role. It is often seen in question and answer situations. Sonan desu is a frequent statement. Remember so desu ka, which meant is that so? Now here sonan desu means that's how it is, that's the way it is, etc. So acts like a noun here. See the examples in this slide. The first example, Igirisujin Janainda. He is not British, you see. Igirisujin means British. Jin is used for nationality. Igirisu is English. English people, if you wish. Janai is the same as Deva Arimasan, present negative and plain form. It means isn't. Inda is the plain form and that has been used here. He is not British, I am sure. I know. I am a police officer or I am an immigration officer. I can look at a guy and say he is British or not. Or I have seen his passport. He is not British. I know. It's not necessarily limited to this sort of context. The expression of confidence or emphasis is what you should take out. Move over to the second example. Sishuka nakatan desu. It was not quite, you see. Sishuka means quite. Nakata is the past negative, means what was not. How did that recording come out? No, it wasn't good. It was not quite, you see. Sishuka nakatan desu. There was so much background noise. This is explanatory. The expression was in the past, but in this is not changing tense. It is in the present. It is a present expression. Now for the third example. Samukatandes. It was cold, you see. Samui means cold. Samukata means was cold. It is in the past tense, but it's a positive sentence. The Indian cricket team lost to England recently. Why? They did not spend enough time to get acclimatized to British weather. I could see them feeling the cold weather. They were walking stiff, bracing themselves. It was cold, you see. Samukatandes. The Indians are from the equatorial region and they could not stand the cold. This is explanatory. They have already lost. It was cold. Everything is in the past tense, but the question and answer is happening now. We use only in this and in the at all times in such expressions. Also note that this is a positive sentence. Was cold. N is normally a letter associated with negativity. Don't let that confuse you. This example was a defensive explanatory one that may also add to your perception of negativity, but in the is for assertion or explanation and not negative. Let us see some more examples. The next one uses a verb. Ikanakatanda. I did not go. Iku means to go. Ikanai is the negative meaning not go. Ikanakatta is a past tense of ikanai meaning did not go. Inda is also used in questions. Look at the next example. Ikanakattan desu ka? Where did you go? This is a question seeking explanation. The response can be Isogashi kattan desu. Isogashi means busy. Isogashi katta is the past tense of isogashi meaning was busy. The meaning is I was busy, you see. Thus need not be only in response to a question. It can be in response to an implied question or a statement made in a situation. It can be used to supplement one's previous sentence to add an explanatory touch. Japanese language has this formal speech, which is the polite form, a plain form for casual speaking among friends, a humble form used by service providers to their customers, and a feminine form used by women. We have mostly focused on the polite form. The plain form is also used in polite speech in places other than sentence endings. However, lot more general conversation among the natives may be in plain form. The humble form can be heard in restaurants, shops, and such places. The feminine form is a unique concept that I have not heard of in any other language that I know. Women in general use the politer forms of expression. When they speak the plain form also, they soften it with some additional words such as wa and no at the end. They are just appended to the plain form sentences as sentence endings. There is no literal meaning attached to them. They are there to add a degree of politeness when the expression is in the plain form. I will present 3 examples below for such a feminine speech application of no. Consider the first sentence. Kore jibun de sukutta no. Kore jibun de sukutta no. Jibun means myself. Jibun de would mean by myself. Sukuru means to make, to produce, to manufacture, etc. Sukutta is the past tense of sukuru and means made, produced, manufactured, etc. The meaning of the sentence is I made this myself. The sentence without no would have made exactly the same sense. When used in a question, no can substitute the question marker particle ka. Let us look at the second example. Ashita konai no. Ashita means tomorrow. Konai is the negative form of kuru and means not coming. No stands for the question particle ka in this application. It can be said to be the equivalent of no desu ka and hence a little more emphatic. The meaning is, aren't you coming tomorrow? The third example has yet another twist. It is also a question where no replaces ka, but there is one more change. The word before no was to be da, which was changed to na because da is not used before no. Look at this. Daijobu na no. Daijobu desu ka would have been the formal speech. This would mean, are you okay? Tejovi means safe. Ka was replaced by no. This is formal. Da is the plain form of this. In front of no, da becomes na. Thus we have Daijobna no. Men are also said to use no ending while asking questions to women they are close to. When I dealt with the particle va, I did not cover the feminine speech aspect. Being a male, I did not learn the feminine speech aspect first. So I have really gone by the books and have been preparing the content for this slide. In the case of no, I found 3 variants as described above, but in the case of va, I haven't seen any such variants. I guess adding va ending to a normal sentence which consists of plain form words is all there is to it. So I am not going to cover it. Well, that brings me to the end of this lesson. There are a few more applications, but just as I found from the discussions on relative class, etc., the more nuanced applications drag us more into the general language structure than clarifying the context of the particle alone. Hence, I am skipping them. Let us recapitulate what we covered so far. We had a basic application where no connected to nouns. The first noun gave more information about the second noun. Depending on whether the noun is a person, place or thing, the indication also changed to ownership, relationship or content. No following question words are used for asking more specific information. Sometimes the second noun is omitted and no stands for the omitted noun. The word before the particle no can be an adjective. An adjective followed by no stands for the noun to which the adjective pertains. The preceding noun can also be a general noun, while the following noun is a proper noun of the same category related to the general noun. No is also used in a relative class. It is if a subject marker ga appears in a sentence that has to be modified into the relative class, no replaces ga. No can also make an entire sentence to act as a noun of another sentence. In the and in this are sentence endings that make sentence explanatory or emphatic. Question and answers use such expressions. No was also used as a sentence ending particle in feminine speech to soften the plain form expression. That brings me to the end of lesson number 47. We have so far learned 4 particles, va, ga, mo and no. The next lesson may be delayed by a few weeks. Subscribe to my channel to get notified. Gambetta Kudasai, Deva, Mata.